At age 18, I went to college because, well, that's what you do at 18, right? This was simply the next step in my predetermined life path, so I didn't think much about what happens at the end of the tunnel. Fast forward to my first job after graduating college. 2 weeks in, after a long day of management consulting, I went home and cried. This can't be it. I worked so hard. And for what? Is this what the rest of my life will be like? You only get one shot at ages 18 through 24, which are some of the best years of your life, but it's also where you can feel the most lost. Now, I'm right at the tail end of this age range and built what I currently consider my dream life. Today, I'd love to share with you what I would have loved to know. These are the 5 most important lessons you should start doing now. If I didn't do these 5 things, I would probably still be crying about my job instead of living the life my younger self wanted. I'm Amy. I graduated from Caltech with a degree in chemical engineering in 2021. So yes, I was a COVID graduate. Sad. Very, very sad, actually, not just a fake sad. I worked as a management consultant as my first job. I'm currently doing more entrepreneurial and content things. Let's go into the things that I want you to know so much that I put please in the title. Let's go. Each week, studying or working, you wake up on Mondays, hating life, you stay up to finish that one task, and it feels like a drag until one day you look at where you're going in life and you don't know. Because you realize that you've been living on autopilot. You should begin with the end in mind. I picked chemical engineering because I liked chemistry and math, but I didn't begin my college experience with the end in mind. Whenever you're starting something new or before you're making a decision, think about what your ultimate goal is with what you're putting in right now. I already messed up choosing my college major by not following this advice. So when I began recruiting for my first full-time job, I reflected about the end I want, and that was to make an impact through leadership. If I hadn't reflected about my ultimate goal and instead done engineering right out of undergrad, then it would have taken me 5 extra years before I could switch into consulting. And then only after trying consulting, I would realize I don't want to do it. And by then, it would be a lot harder and riskier to do entrepreneurship like I am now. So I actually saved myself over 5 years getting myself to do what I enjoy now. You can also save yourself years and years getting ahead, more successful and happier by simply beginning with the end in mind. When you input something right now, it's more optimal if you already have a sense of where you want that to take you. The headline here to keep in mind is think about what you won't regret. And that includes spending time with the ones who matter. I saw this crazy graph the other day that shows the time spent with your parents and siblings. It peaks in childhood and declines dramatically after age 20. You're probably working on a degree right now or have already finished a degree, or even if you're not in college, that's totally fine. But I think what's really important is to realize that being educated is more than a piece of paper. I've seen people who go to Harvard, who go to Caltech, and they don't have many life skills, or they don't know how to handle things outside of the bubble of college. And not being smart in life definitely includes myself, because your girl didn't know the first thing when it came to how credit cards really work, finances, taxes, knowing how to turn on a stove. Wow. Just kidding, I'm not that bad. But my fiance, who went to a quote-unquote lesser-ranked school, is so good at speaking with people. He knows everything about finances and helps me.
I'm looking for a man in finance. Trust fund.
So number 2 is build your human capital. The diploma doesn't mean as much as the person you are. This is the internal value you have within yourself, like skills, experience, knowledge, wisdom that no one can take away from you, where even if one day your degree has no meaning at all because it is arbitrary, society just gives a definition to it, even if that all goes away, you will be fine and you will know that you're gonna succeed in life no matter what. Some of the most important education can actually be forms such as wisdom from reading books. There's a reason why all the millionaires out there say to please read books. I definitely agree. Once I read my first self-development book, my eyes just opened. I was like,
where has this been my whole life?
So I definitely recommend you try one first. You can self-study. With AI on the rise, it's really important to at least understand its capabilities, how you can leverage it, and at the very least, learn how you can accurately prompt AI. Work on writing and communication. I hated writing essays, but But now I'm writing every single day, way more than I ever thought I would, because communication is so crucial for me to be making this video, to be putting my knowledge and experiences into a format that's digestible and helpful to anyone. On your own, you can also work on organization and time management skills. When I was younger, I would look at adults in their 30s and 40s and assume they had their lives together and they were just miles ahead in terms of managing their schedules, their calendars, multiple commitments, but that's not really true. You realize that at every age, people are still just kids, and the more mature people are those who actively try to improve. Finally, some of the most important education you can have comes from expanding your worldview with experiences. You can travel and get immersed in different cultures, which is some of the most fun and beautiful things I think that you can do. And you can do the next two tips. You only get one chance at walking down this life path you're on. Time moves linearly, such that after you get through college, after you get through your first job, you can look back and be like, I wish I did that differently. You will make mistakes, and while mistakes are definitely great and you should learn from them, it's ideal to not have to learn things the hard way. So the best way to do that is to learn from others' lives. Listen to and study other people's journeys. Purposefully find and understand the years and years of struggle, their mistakes, and their failures that lie behind their current successes. Let them inspire your own journey. For example, Ali Abdaal, he talks a lot about his struggles and his failures and about the sunk cost fallacy because he's not a doctor anymore, even though he spent years and years studying to be one. So by learning the ups and downs of his journey will not only encourage you, because you'll see it's not easy for anyone, but you'll also have a better idea of how to build the life that you want. In fact, good job doing this right now, learning from me as like your older sister or kind of a mentor, friend. While it's amazing to learn from others, it's super critical and valuable to grow from your own experiences. And you do that by pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. If you don't know what to do with your life, well, there's only one way to find out. Every time you're scared to do something, whether it's to talk to someone intimidating, pick up a skill, or apply for a position that seems too difficult, relish in that fear. Reframe your mindset that fear means a huge opportunity for growth right there in front of you. It's also a chance for you to discover which doors you can close and what things you can cross off the list. It was very daunting for me to completely switch industries from engineering to consulting, but I'm so grateful I did that because I discovered way more about myself than if I had stayed in engineering, and at a quicker pace too. I'm no longer in consulting, but I'm grateful I now know to cross that thing off my list of things I don't want to do in life. See, you don't know what to do with your life yet, but that's the beauty of it.
I felt lost in my 20s, and I felt this pressure to have it all figured out, and I thought that because I didn't know everything about myself, I was somehow doing something wrong, but it turns out that's what your life's for.
The fifth thing is to remember that it's your life. I absolutely love this quote. The life I had been given is not a rehearsal for some future life, and I constantly remind myself to drop the act and strive for authenticity rather than applause. Believe in your own judgment. If people are pushing you in one way, understand that maybe they just want you to live out their dreams, but you are the one who needs to live out your own. Growing up and having values of really respecting and valuing the opinions of my Asian parents, I struggled with becoming my own person and forming my own view of things. I had to learn to put my own beliefs above my parents and only think of them as advisors, not managers. The world is moving fast, and that's why companies love to hire young people, because we are the ones who have innovative thoughts and ideas. So why not listen to that advantage? All in all, you're gonna feel so much pressure to have your life figured out, and people are gonna ask you, what are you gonna do with your life? Heck, you're gonna ask yourself the same thing every day, but there's nothing to do with it. Your life is not something to be expended like,
what are you gonna do with that $100 bill?
I'm telling myself this every day as an achiever personality type. Don't put pressure on yourself to win in some arbitrary race. Don't feel the need to force some productivity or achievement rating on what you've done with your life so far. Really, if I could give you one thing to take away from this, is that in this age of distraction and social media, treat your time like it's gold. It's your gold, so you choose how to spend it. You choose what to give your attention to. You choose what kinds of opinions to form. Don't put other people's above yours. Don't put their time and their livelihood above yours. As long as you continually reflect on how you're spending your time and valuing it, you will find your way. At the end of the day, remember that the old folks have a few things right, which is to prioritize your happiness, your health, and fulfillment. What to do with your life? Live. Thanks so much for spending this time with me. Hope it was valuable.